Alright you lot, welcome to Gaming Hellwire, where we don't do hype, we do damage. Xbox is talking about killing paid multiplayer and not forcing AI garbage into every game. Battlefield 6 is out muscling Call of Duty on Steam. Sonic 4 is getting renamed like it's on witness protection detail. And some 4-player RV panic sim just embarrassed Ubisoft. No filters, no fucking mercy. Let's go. Right, so Paramount, in all the blue blur brilliance, are reportedly thinking of calling Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Sonic CD. I shit you not, they've looked at 4 film in connected trilogy and said, you know what this needs? A 1993 throwback title that'll confuse piss out of everyone. Why? Because Amy Rose and Metal Sonic showed up in post-credits and someone at board meeting went, oi, want that plot of Sonic CD? Let's just name it that. Absolute clown move. They spent 3 films building a story. Robotnik's clearly not dead. If you know lore, you know Eggman's more persistent than a cold sore in a sauna. Man's never gone, just plotting off screen. And now you're going to slap a retro title on follow-up like it's a Sega Classic remaster. It's Sonic 4. Own it. If this were just a marketing gimmick, fine. But let's be real. This smells like studio suits chasing nostalgia because they don't trust actual story they're telling. Quick, make it sound like that and with Metal Sonic. Gamers will eat it up. No, we won't, Karen. We played it in 1993, and it had time travel and a soundtrack that slapped harder than your writer's room. Worst part? This confuses your audience. New fans think it's a reboot, old fans think it's a remake, and rest of us are wondering if Sonic Mania were just a fluke and we're back to rewriting continuity with crayons. See its deal. Call it Sonic 4, let Amy and Metal Sonic be part of continued arc, keep lore, stop nostalgia baiting and branding that means naught to your actual plot. If you're worried about fans not connecting, maybe worry more about your script quality and less about titles ripped from Sega CD graveyard. Rename it Sonic CD and you're not making a movie, you're making a mess. Let's talk about Battlefield 6 now. Or more accurately, absolute piss-misted circus act around how its performance has been spun by so-called analysts who think engagement means opening a launcher and staring at menu. Sakana, in the latest player engagement tracker, reckons Battlefield 6 is climbing console charts, like a bloke with no limbs trying to summit Everest in flip-flops. They've got it listed at number 7 on PlayStation, number 6 on Xbox, which sounds fair. Till you look at Steam charts for exact same week, US and Canada no less, where Battlefield 6 is sitting pretty at number bloody 1. And where's Call of Duty, you ask? Nowhere, not even on list. Let me make that clearer. In 2 biggest PC markets in Western Hemisphere, Battlefield 6 is topping Steam charts, completely demolishing everything else. Meanwhile, Call of Duty doesn't even crack top 15. Only place COD shows up on Steam is in Mexico, barely clinging to relevance at number 15. On console, sure, Call of Duty HQ is ranked 2nd on both Xbox and PlayStation, but that's not when they think it is. That's not just Black Ops 6, it's a bloated launcher that includes Warzone, Zombies, DMZ, your mate's YouTube clips and probably half of Verdansk's repressed trauma. And here's twist, Warzone's free to play. Don't need Game Pass, don't need PlayStation Plus. You can just download it and jump in, just like Fortnite and Roblox. So when you see those games topping engagement charts and console, it's not cause player base is thriving, it's cause there's no barrier to entry. It's free and easy. And for every proper player logging hours, there's 10 kids mashing buttons cause mummy's Wi-Fi ain't locked. Battlefield 6, on the other hand, is a full price game, and despite that, it's still most played game on Steam in US and Canada. That's not just impressive, that's devastating to narrative Sakana's pushing. They're trying to pitch COD as more engaged brand while Battlefield's apparently climbing, when in reality, Battlefield's already planted flag at top at mountain while COD's still itching a lift from Warzone's freeloaders. A linear analytics, only people in this mess giving us proper numbers, confirm Battlefield 6 sold 6.5 million copies in first 4 days. Over half of that came from Steam, 3.5 million copies, 2.5 million daily active users on launch. Steam made up 56.7% at revenue. That's actual pulse at player base. And yet Sakana's got nerve to act like Battlefield's trailing behind games that cost naught to play. And if you really want to open that kind of worms, let's talk about cheating. Because for years, Call of Duty players have moaned about PC ruining everything. Steam players this, Steam players that. But now we're looking at our data showing Battlefield's biggest player base is on PC, and cheating talk is minimal. Meanwhile, Warzone's still crawling with Cronus scum, recall scripts, and thumbstick cheaters with elite hacks plugged into the USB ports like they're charging a sex toy. So it's truth. Either Sakana's charts are cooked to make console look better than it is, or we've just proved Call of Duty's player base is propped up by free-to-play padding, and Battlefield, despite having no gimmicks and no freebies, is absolutely smashing it. So get this, a janky chaotic indie co-op game about 4 tossers in an RV trying not to get killed by snakes, bears or gravity has sold 1.3 million copies. Let me repeat that. A game where core loop is don't crash caravan and maybe don't get eaten is now outperforming half at AAA slate this year. It's called RV There Yet, and it might be most accidentally brilliant middle finger to industry in years. You've got devs out here spending 300 million quid building photorealistic NPCs with AI-generated backstories and monologues longer than a Netflix documentary. Meanwhile, Nuggets Entertainment slapped together a box on wheels, gave it bad handling, and said, "Go nuts!" And we did. It's cheap, it's broken in places, physics are proper mental, and that's exactly why it works. You're not spending 70 quid on a corporate loot box disguised as a storyline. You're paying 6 quid for instant chaos with your mates and a 50-50 chance van flips cause Steve pressed wrong pedal. It's kind of game that streams itself. Every moment's a clip, every bug's a feature, every scream's real. And that's why it's winning. Meanwhile, Ubisoft can't even sell Prince of Persia without a roadmap. Activision's throwing AI garbage skins into item shop and charging a mortgage for them. And here comes RV There Yet, with no polish, no prestige, no bullshit. Just laughs and mayhem. This ain't a fluke. This is what happens when you make something fun and get hell out of players' way. But it's best part. This is warning shot. If you're a AAA exec right now and you're still betting your job on live service trash and half-baked remakes, guess what? You just got curb stomped by 4 idiots in a tin box trying to park on a hill. Now then, Phil Spencer, Xbox boss, cardigan assassin, probably the last suit we've not targeted, just said Xbox ain't forcing developers to use AI. And you know what? That's the first bit of sanity I've heard in months. He said studios can use it if they want, but it's not mandated. AI is being used for back-end stuff, moderation, chat filters, protecting accounts, not replacing writers, artists or animators. And that's good. Because last thing we need is Halo's next villain being designed by fucking Midjourney and voiced by ChatGPT trying to do a gritty American accent. But here's a bit Phil left out. You own Activision now, lad. So if you're proud of not forcing AI on your teams, how about you walk into that room and start cracking skulls? Because Activision's already halfway down AI rabbit hole. They've been poking around generative content tools, voice AI, and probably scripting Call of Duty cutscenes with a toaster strapped to an Alexa. If Phil's hands-off promise doesn't stretch across whole empire, then it's just PR polish on a flaming barrel of shareholder sewage. And look, I'm not saying AI can't be useful for menus, QA, maybe even helping design procedural terrain. Fine, use tech. But second it starts writing dialogue, building characters, or patching story gaps, we're not playing games anymore, we're reading AI fanfiction with a 70 quid price tag. So yeah, cheers Phil, good on you, but if you're serious then drag Activision out to AI swamp and make it clear. No script, no asset, no emotion gets generated unless a human signs off. Because I'll be damned if COD's next campaign turns out to be ChatGPT goes to war. Right, for once we've got a story that don't make me want to headbutt drywall. If this leak's real, and that's a big if, so don't start planning Street Party yet, then Microsoft's next Xbox is going to be console equivalent to a war crime against status quo. We're talking full fat Windows OS running under HUD, Steam and Epic integrations out of box, your Xbox library intact, and potential removal of paid online multiplayer. Let me repeat that slowly for traumatised. No Game Pass requirement just to play multiplayer. Zero, zip, zilch, nada. Just buy a game, go online, play it. Like a proper human being on PC. Welcome to future console peasants. We've been expecting you. Now here's where irony hits harder than Red Ring of Death. Xbox is one that started this mess. They launched Xbox Live in 2002 and started charging for online play while everyone laughed. Then Sony in 2013 took the pride in the socks and did the same with PlayStation Plus. So if Xbox is now at one standing up and saying, maybe that were a bit of a dick move, fair play. They're at least trying to fix mess they created. But while promise sounds amazing, a hybrid system that does everything a gaming PC does without headaches, it also raises one terrifying question. What if this opens floodgates for real PC cheats to invade consoles? Up until now, consoles have had a decent advantage. Closed ecosystem, locked hardware, limited access. Worst you had to deal with were Cronus rats scripting an advantage, or Zim users tricking game into thinking a keyboard were a controller. Annoying, yeah, but sort of manageable. If this new Xbox is running Windows, with full access to PC storefronts, background processors, overlays, and ability to boot into native PC apps, well then, guess what? That's a big juicy backdoor for every shady cheat developer on internet. PC Plague we've been roasting for years, Flying Axe, ESP, full aim bots, Ghost Recoil. I might not stay on Steam anymore. I might become native to Xbox. Sure, there are already ways some of these scumbags get cheats into consoles through spoofing, remote tools and modified devices, but this could make it trivially easy. PC hybrid means a PC attack surface, and if Microsoft don't lock that shit down tighter than Fort Knox wrapped in Denuvo, we're going to see console lobbies look like pre-patched Warzone, wall-hacks in 4K and aimbots snapping across room faster than the server can catch up. And then there's matchmaking issue. Right now many console players disable crossplay to avoid PC players entirely. Will that still be an option if Xbox becomes a PC under HUD? Will input-based matchmaking still mean out if some twat's using spoofed device to pretend their mouse is a controller? Spoiler, probably not. So yeah, this new hybrid future sounds powerful. It feels like next logical step, but it also sounds like Xbox is walking on a razor's edge. They'll be first ones to merge console stability with PC chaos, and that means they have to get security right from day one. Because if they don't, they're not just killing Paywall, they're inviting worst parts of PC gaming straight into the living room. And trust me, nobody wants that. And that's your daily dose of Gaming Hellwire. If this is really the future of gaming, then good. Let it be loud, let it be messy, let it scare executives. Like, subscribe and all that bollocks. Drop whatever filth you've got in comments, especially if you're a Cronus user. I'd love to hear how it feels living life without a spine. And I'll see you next time, you magnificent